We are in a state park in St. Pete's Beach, Florida right now. And what we're doing today is more of the actual escape. This is post-escape. And today we're going to be filming some scenes of the guys on the run, through the woods, the jungle, that kind of stuff, and the pursuit.
It's a great location because we have the beach and the jungle next to each other, so we don't have to make a big move. We don't have to be moving the equipment back and forth to long distances.
Right now we're setting up for a shot. We're going to put the Steadicam on an ATV, and we found a really good location which is quite accessible for the crew and the equipment. And so we're going to take the ATV and run it on a road that goes right through the middle of the jungle. And that way the Steadicam operator doesn't have to actually try to run and keep up with the guys, because he's not so nimble anymore. He's getting up there in age. So Billy Nielsen, who's great, it just makes it a little easier on him.
So, you know, we are in the jungle. We don't know we are in the beach. And besides being beautiful, all the greens and the trees, it's really a subtropical kind of jungle, very Caribbean looking. You say, I mean, you go to Colombia, Panama, or Venezuela, places I've been, and they're very similar. It's very comfortable to shoot like this. Besides, the weather has been great. I mean, look at you. It's just, I invite you, all of you, to be here.
So today is all about chase. It's all about chase, so we'll just sort of run the guys through the jungle.
We literally just broke out.
We only have 30 seconds. Go.
Running through these woods behind me here with squibs on trees and things flying around and earplugs. A lot of earplug work today. So it's McGrady and Michael Whistler and myself teamed up and trying to hook up with Lincoln and get out of here.
Mr. Whistler, I'll drag you by your hair because we gotta go. I'll slow you down. Just go. Just leave me. We both know that's not an option. It's only a quarter of a mile to the beach. If we stick to the brush, we can make it, Alex. Little help.
And then we'll wind up the day on the beach where the Sona guards find the beach in the area where the guys have left all their clothes and shoes and whatnot, and they realize that the guys have escaped on the water.
General, I think we have to call the Coast Guard.
We have part of our crew is coming from Texas, and the other part of the crew is local. I guess they are from Tampa. You know, so far it hasn't been much of a difference. Everything is working pretty smoothly so far. You know, so it's been great. The weather is great too. Oh. Come here. This is Dom.
The smart ass.
This is Dom.
Smart ass.
Myself, Wentworth, Bill Fickner, and Chris, and we're in Florida, exterior, shooting, pretending to be Panama. Just a whole bunch of water stuff. It's kind of like something out of a James Bond movie. We all have these kind of scuba diver things, canisters kind of things, and we take them and we go into water and we come up and we're waiting for Sucre to arrive with the boat.
It's pretty ironic because, you know, we've been talking about it for the last week, is that, you know, this is the second time now that we've sort of done this episode. You know, we did it when they escaped from Fox River in Chicago, and now we're doing it again season 3 when they escaped from Sona. The big difference is, season 1 they escaped, it was about 9 degrees outside, so we were doing all this stuff at night in the cold. Now, you know, we're down in Florida, it's 80 degrees, it's a lot more comfortable, so we're all a lot happier about that. But, you know, it is pretty ironic that a lot of the same beats are recurring, and, you know, with a different group of guys, and this is fun stuff to do. This is really cool.
You know, I think we've got past the point of, you know, trying to justify the reasons as to why the show is valid if, you know, just because, you know, Michael's in jail and Lincoln was in jail in the first season. You know, the show primarily is about entertainment and, you know, continuing with that theme and this year the fans have proven that they're on board with the show, and they've accepted the plausibility of Prison Break.
You know, one of the most difficult things about doing these kinds of episodes are the logistical challenges of some of the work. And yesterday, you know, we had the guys in the water. They were in the ocean, waiting for Sucre to show up with the escape boat, as it were. And so we had to film all of the shots of the guys actually in the water, swimming to the buoy, and then waiting at the buoy for the rescue.
Part of the escape plan that Lincoln's put together, we have to disappear as quickly as possible because we're in hot pursuit. We built the whole of Sona, so we take to the ocean and we get underwater. So we disappear as such, and then we come up in the middle of the ocean.
Where is it? Where's who? Sucre with the boat.
We're kind of stranded in the middle of the ocean. We're, you know, wondering if we're ever going to get out of, you know, out of the frying pan into the fire, and we find ourselves in that sort of scenario.
Logistically, it meant that we had a lot of equipment that we had to get out there on the ocean. We had barges, we had 2 cameras. One of them was in the water, so the camera had to be housed in an underwater housing to protect it. You know, it was quite a logistic challenge for us. Those kind of things are really fun to do because they're quite different than your normal days where you're just on stage, on sets that, you know, you've built and that are lit already.
There are several challenges. One is, technically speaking, we need to light the water. We need to light the characters. So the only way to do it was with some portable lamps. The other way was we brought some reflectors. I remember we brought some reflectors that just, when you put it in against the sun, kind of bounces off light. The other problem is because we were shooting backlight, we had too much, the ocean was too bright, so we have to compensate for that exposure, which is very high, so the faces don't go way dark.
So those kind of things are really challenging. Fernando makes it especially challenging because, you know, he's a little, you know, we have to work with Fernando from time to time. No, he's Fernando Arguelles, one of our directors of photography. Really wonderful working with him, very talented guy.
For the camera operators, the ones that are in the water, it's a very tough job because we were for 5.5 hours, you were with us there, and you know, the hour is, I think it's around 72, 70, and it's difficult to work like that with a Hydroflex, you know, camera, underwater camera, and keep the, you know, keep the frame and keep the actors in the frame, in the right frame, and following them. And I have to say that our camera operators, Rick Anderson and Billy Nielsen, they did a great job, as well as the assistants, Willie Estrada, Matthew King. They all did a fantastic job being for 5.5 hours in the water.
So, you know, it was difficult, but it was challenging, and you know, it's quite hard to sort of move around. So once you get everything out there, then it becomes that much more challenging to actually move the pieces. So, you know, you find ways to get the angles without moving all that stuff around. So I think we did a really good job. I was very happy with what we got yesterday. I think it's going to look great.
There's other thing is, I have to say that the actors were awesome. They were amazing to be there, and they were still laughing and making jokes, cracking jokes all around, and you know that. They are just
While we're still wet, let's do what we can.
really a great ensemble of people.
You know, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was very well set up. It was, you know, it was as always very safe for us and everything, and so that was kind of cool. It just, when you're in the water for 6 hours, you get cold, you know, and I think that was the hardest part about yesterday, was just the you know, take after take, and the longer it gets, and your body's sort of getting colder and colder, and you have to sort of get the energy together again and go again.
If you spend more than an hour and a half in the water, it starts to get really cold, and we started to get real cold after that.
I grew up in Buffalo. I know cold. I love being in cold weather. I love being warm in cold weather. It's been a long time since I've had my teeth chatter. Yesterday was I can't remember the last time. You must have been a kid. Literally just knocking together out there. I guess when they scouted here a couple of weeks ago, the temperature of the water was 76, and 14 days later it had dipped to 66. That's a slight difference, you know? Just freezing.
And, you know, apart from that, it was, we had a great day. It was beautiful weather. There was no wind as such. It was nice and warm, so when we got out, it was fine. Had it been any different, if the water had been choppy and everything, then things might have got miserable. But yesterday was kind of cool.
But today they'll shoot some footage with a helicopter with that same buoy way out to sea, or far enough where, you know, they're not close to shore. And so they can do a beautiful zoom. We have this, you know, best helicopter rod pilot on the planet, and he will come in close and zoom out like this, and you'll see the stunt guys. Stunt guys, I'll admit that, because I'm not going out with large sharks in the water. But they'll be swimming, you know, the characters are swimming up to the buoy, and yesterday we shot right offshore, cheating it, you know, close facing away from the shore. Getting out to this buoy, which was a meeting point, where we were supposed to have a rendezvous and get picked up. You know, unbeknownst to me, it's Michael's plan that he's been working out, or actually Lincoln's plan. So we're out there in the water yesterday.
6 hours.
Freezing.
That's basically it. So we spend the whole day in the water, bobbing around.
Yeah, we probably had a good solid 2 to 3 solid hours actually in the water, and that's a long time. You know, that scene too, you know, because things like that, it's just better to put a big mag on it. You know, there's more big mag, more film on the reel, and just keep it rolling, keep it shooting.
That's the great thing about Prison Break, though. You just, honestly, because it's not episodic, it's serial, so you just never know, and that's the fun part, you know. And literally from script to script, it's just a hoot, because you pick these things up, and you just have no idea where they're going with this, and it's great.
They do a good job, you know, mixing it up. And when I was making the original decision to do this before season 2, I never wanted to go into, you know, detail about, tell me where the character's going or what you're thinking about for the storyline. Well, all I really asked Matt and our executive producer and director of this episode, episode 12, 3rd season, Kevin Hooks, and I talked to those gentlemen and I said, listen, I only ask one thing, and that's just make it really challenging. You know, give them a lot of problems.
I was told to choose between your family and mine. That was my option. I chose mine.
Go to hell.
It's a lot more fun to do and to play. So today we're in Fort DeSoto Park outside of Tampa, cheating it for Panama. Not a bad cheat. I haven't been to Panama, but I could imagine. And we're on the run.